is your ally, but you merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man, and by then it was nothing to me.
Oh, thank you, Bane. Welcome in to the Bro 4 Squad podcast, episode 53. We are just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. I am your host, Jeff Hornacek. We appreciate you guys checking us out. Let's go around the horn and meet the fellow bros before we dive right into it. First, we go to the mad scientist, Brian Banner, who's always doing his work in his lab. Banner, what did you get me as a Labor Day gift?
You mean other than the rusty needle and spoon?
Yeah, that's the tradition. I assume you have other plans for me because we've been friends for so long. So what else?
No, that's about it.
What a good friend. What a good friend.
Yeah, seriously. Way to really up the stakes for our friendship. And also joining us
It was
tonight
in
is
your
our-
Amazon wish list.
Yeah, but that was 2 years ago. I haven't updated it. You know that. Also joining us tonight is our legal counsel, here to keep us in check, Ronnie Cycli. Ronnie, October is coming up, and you and I are both huge horror movie fans, so I gotta ask, what's scarier to you, the movie The Strangers, or seeing your phone light up when Banner's calling you at 2 a.m.?
Honestly, Banner calling me at any hour is probably the scariest experience of my life.
How did he get your number?
You got to tell me, man, because I think you gave it to him, and I'm still upset at you for that.
Oh, yeah, I did, actually. Fuck, my bad.
Because you said in exchange, I think you told him in exchange for him to stop calling you, you gave him my number, and that was kind of
Well,
pissed
guys,
me
in
off.
my defense, I called Geiger, but he was sitting next to me, so it didn't really help me any.
And guess if me giving him your number made him stop calling me or not.
No.
Yeah. No. There you go.
Guys, we're just all great friends.
All right. If you've not listened to our show before, or even if you have, then the first thing that we start every episode off with is the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is Chess Day. And as we're recording this, the movie year is winding down. So before we get to the holiday films, we have what typically comes out in the September to November time range, which are the trash movies used to lure us out to the theater and collect some of our disposable income, which we inevitably take the bait on. So some movies that might fall into this category, and please don't send us death threats if you disagree, or do if you're serious about them.
I would actually love to see what people come up with to attempt to kill us.
Like a detailed plan on how they're going to follow us after work to our apartment or house. I don't know, man. If you're going to do
Have
it,
you been reading my emails again?
Those death threats.
yeah, if you're going to do it, just be committed to it, okay? So some of these movies are The Predator, The House with a Clock in Its Walls, Goosebumps 2, The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, and Robin Hood. And I based that one solely on its trailers because I actually love Robin Hood. So guys, we got to ask, of these films, which do you think could be so bad that it's good? Or more importantly, or I guess even and more importantly, what bad movies that you love do you want to tout as the blueprint for how to make the good, bad movie? Now, Banner, this is a category of movie that I almost feel like was made specifically for you. So I guess I'll let you go first. You take the ball, and then I'll just chime in and interrupt you whenever I feel the need to cut you off.
So, first off, I actually think Robin Hood looks good, so sue me.
First trailer, dog shit. Second trailer, you have my attention.
Yeah, they're probably going to get my money on that one. Predator is not taking itself too seriously, and I am all in on that. It's going to be bad, and it knows it's going to be bad, and that's what's going to make it good.
I thought it was taking itself seriously, again, until the newest trailer.
The newest trailer, yeah, I put it over the edge for sure. As far as the other ones, yeah, they're just going to be bad, and I'm probably not going to see them. Maybe, no, let's be honest ourselves, I'm not. Now, going into my deep pockets here of good, bad movies, obviously, classic pod movie, Deep Blue Sea. Hands down, number one. Guys, check out our movie commentary on it. That is
Deepest, bluest.
little LL
My
Cool
head is like
J
a
in there.
shark fin.
Yeah. Hands down, my favorite bad movie. So bad it's good. With Rappaport in it, that fucking idiot. Couple others that make the short list. Mars Attacks.
That's good. That's a good
And
movie.
Sierra with
Wait, Cycli, when you said that's good, did you mean like it's it's so bad it's good, or do you actually think Mars Attacks?
I actually think Mars Attacks is good. I'm
Well,
not gonna lie.
okay.
Okay, we're gonna
Banner's-
pause what I'm saying. Defend yourself.
Yeah, please.
It is full. Okay, what is the point of a movie? It's to entertain, right?
Sure.
That is a fully, from beginning to end, is an entertaining movie. It has a little twist. You don't see it coming. How they defeat the aliens. I mean, it's a great movie. It's
But
not
I-
going to be like mind blowing, but if you're going to go to a movie and watch an hour 45 minutes to just kind of not think about your life and see something that's going to make you laugh, make you cry, make you
Cry?
hug your loved ones,
Okay.
So hold on.
When did you cry in Mars Attacks?
when it ended.
Oh, okay. Like, fuck, it's over.
Hold on. So what you're telling me is like it's up there like a top 5 twist in movies, top 10.
Who could have seen the yodeling as the like key
Is that
to
a
defeating?
twist? That's just
That's not a
plot.
twist. That's just like it just happened.
Cycling, but I think what you just described is a good bad movie. Like, it's entertaining. It's entertaining because it's horrible.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you guys know I love bad movies.
Yeah, but I'll say this there, and Banner, sorry to like totally
No,
derail
this is what we
because
do.
I still want to hear you talk about Sahara, but
Right.
there for me there is a law of diminishing returns, like the Sharknado movies, which I know are completely tongue in cheek, but those are like I don't find those fun because they don't a good bad movie has to not realize that that's what it is.
The first one, the first Sharknado movie does that. And then people
Right.
started making fun of it and they realized what they had. So then they started trying to make comedy movies with them.
Yeah, and then
And I
that's when
haven't
you-
seen it since Sharknado 82. So they may have
Yeah,
righted the ship.
I haven't either. But yeah, sorry. Get back to Sahara because I want to hear you just talk briefly about that.
I love McConaughey. And it's not as good as the book. It is based on books. So, again, obviously I'm going to have read the book and seen the movie. But it's not a great movie. None of the acting is good. But I don't know. Something about it. Every time it's on, I'm going to watch it.
Just to clarify, and I could be wrong, but at some point in that movie, does he windsurf in the desert?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
There was also
I just-
another movie that came out with Joaquin Phoenix around that same time about a desert and something. I saw it on Christmas Day one day.
Did he go live in the desert for 6 years to just prepare for the role?
Yeah, I think he was preparing for her, actually, if I remember correctly.
That makes total sense. Cycly, we'll toss it to you. Any of those good, bad movie potential ones jump out to you, and or this is your thing too, right? Like you said, you love the good, bad movies. So what do you got for us?
Of those movies, I'm just over the idea of the Grinch movie. Like I get it that this is fully animated compared to what we got 10 years ago, but what are you going to do for me? I mean, that's not going to give anything. So
Does
I think that's
Benedict
terrible.
Cumberbatch get you excited at all?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
I mean, I'm also not a Benedict Cumberbatch fan. So it's I feel like out of those movies
Like,
that were
not at all?
mentioned, I know I like him as a guy, but he's not going to make or break a movie for me. Like he's not going to be the reason a movie's going to be good.
Okay, because he's in the room with me, and I was going to introduce him, but now.
Oh, this is awkward. He's right behind me. And I mean, like I said, it could be fine. It's going to be for kids, right? Like they might enjoy it.
That's what it looks like.
It's also I'm a guy who it comes from the people who came up with the Minions, and I fucking hate the Minions though.
Yeah, I'm not a big
Yeah.
DreamWorks.
Not a DreamWorks guy.
Yeah. So that's why I'm a little hesitant on those. For me, I mean, there's so many movies I love that are just not, and it's hard to define because I can sit here and say like A Knight's Tale. A Knight's Tale on Rotten Tomatoes is like 30%.
It's
right?
a great
So that's
movie, though.
But A Knight's Tale is a fucking amazing movie.
And that's why fuck Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So what's a bad movie? Now, I will admit there are movies like I'll take low hanging fruit right here, guys. Batman Forever, Phantom Menace. I will watch that on TV all day. I will put that on Netflix. No problem. I will enjoy it from beginning to end. And they're terrible, and I know it.
I mean, we did a movie commentary on Batman Forever. Check it out. And Banner, I'm not going to speak for you, but that movie was not. It was like really tough to get through, even on that scale.
It was really hard. It might have been harder to get through than Batman and Robin, but I'm pretty sure I was more drunk for Batman and Robin. So it was a little different.
See, I will admit that Batman and Robin is bad. Batman Forever. I mean, you still have Jim Carrey. And
but
Tommy.
Is it bad with our movie commentary?
Oh, nothing is bad with the movie commentary.
Agreed.
All right.
Are we biased? No. Why
Not
would we
at all.
favor ourselves?
Please.
Look, I'll say Phantom Menace all day, though. I mean, I don't care how bad that is. I love it.
I actually really like Phantom
I think what defines a good bad movie is the story horrible? Yes. Does it still entertain you? Yes. If it satisfies both of those questions, it qualifies for a good bad movie.
For me,
It can't take itself too seriously, though. Like, if it, I don't know, Phantom Menace, like, I think George Lucas was like, this is going to be the greatest thing of all time. And it's like, dude, no.
see, I think that's what I like more in the good bad movie is it taking itself too seriously because in a sick way, I find more pleasure in a movie really failing at trying to be good, but in like a fun way more than like an Oscar movie that just missed the mark and is pretentious. So like Phantom Menace, obviously George Lucas was trying to replicate what he did with the original trilogy. Obviously Jar Jar Binks, and so to me that's why I take.
Well, the fact that Jar Jar didn't win an Oscar is just a crime against humanity.
It was racism. It was.
Yeah.
Name one Gungan that's ever been nominated. I'll wait.
You can't.
Misa think the Academy racist.
Jeff,
for
what's
me-
a good bad movie that you've got on your list?
So I actually had a couple from the 90s or early aughts. One that I think was way ahead of its time because now that this is a whole genre in and of itself and it sort of parodied it, but no one got it at the time, is Mystery Men.
I love
So,
Mystery
like
Men.
people can watch that movie and be like, is this supposed to be a comedy? Because I'm not laughing at all. But if you watch it now, it makes so much more sense just making fun of like the whole genre of superheroes and like how archetypal they all are. And obviously the cast is incredible. I still like the Transformers movies just because Michael Bay's like, fuck, I don't have a script. More explosions, I guess. Like that's
Testicles on the robots.
Dark of the Moon, the second one, legit has I think an hour and 10-minute third act, and it's almost insufferable. You just start to laugh like, oh, this is still going on. And then also, and I know that both you guys are going to be huge proponents of this, but how cool was it in the 90s when there were all these movies coming out about kids doing ridiculous things in sports that they can't do in real life? Like Rookie of the Year, Little Big League, Angels in the Outfield, and then early 2000s like Mike. That stuff was fucking hilarious to me. Just
Yeah, I
because-
love that.
I love all those.
And as a kid, it gives you false expectations. Like, who after they saw Rookie of the Year wasn't like, I'm going to try and break my arm tonight?
After
So,
I
like,
saw
I
Like
didn't
Mike,
eat mine.
I was like, look, I can totally dunk. Guys, at the time, I was like a 4'3" white kid that was wearing like Chuck Taylors.
Well, all you had to do was find shitty shoes like on a playground, and then you would be playing for whatever fake team he played for in the NBA.
I broke my arm 3 separate times. And of the third time, they arrested my parents, and I don't know why, but I kept going back to the hospital. But I was like, no, I'm trying to become a professional baseball player.
Well, hey, I'll root for them at their next parole hearing, but as far as I'm concerned, they dropped the ball,
Yeah, that's on them.
Yeah, they let you keep watching that movie after 2 broken arms. You're clearly influenced by it. All right, well, if you have any other ideas of good, bad movies or anything that I mentioned that you are really excited for and you want to murder us over, tweet at us at Broforce Squad or just come to Banner's house at 123 Banner's House Street.
Or
Anchorage,
leave us a
Alaska.
comment if there's a good, bad movie you guys want us to do a commentary on, because
That's
we'll do
true.
it.
Banner, do you live is it Anchorage, Alaska or Juneau? I can't remember.
Technically, my address is Juneau, but it's actually just outside city limits.
Okay, cool.
I'm not allowed.
So, yeah.
I'm not allowed in city limits anymore.
Right, for obvious reasons. So just drive up there. If you just ask around for Banner, you'll find him. All right, the next part of our show is
It's
our
like the
protein
town
shake.
jester.
That hasn't been a thing for thousands of years. A town
I'm
chester.
bringing it back.
So we're on to our protein shake segment. This is where we revisit the stuff that we watched since the last episode, aka what is in our protein shake. So Banner, we'll go to you first, and I know you've been.
Are you sure?
As always, I'm guessing. I don't know. Just try and give us the Cliff Notes version because you have a problem with Netflix. We all know it. So what have you watched, and what's in your protein shake since the last Bro Force Squad episode?
You guys want TV or movies first?
Yes.
Okay. So
Just be fair. So we're changing up this segment a little bit. I'm going to ask you questions about these. So be prepared to either defend or explain to me to sell me on them.
Okay. We'll go movies first. Rewatched Black Panther and Infinity War.
Back to back, like same night or what?
Not same night, but probably within 3 nights. Fell asleep at the end of or at the beginning of Infinity War, so picked it back up the next day.
Okay, so I have Infinity War 2, so maybe we can have a brief rewatch discussion when I go to that. But how was Black Panther on a second watch?
It was incredible still. I absolutely love it. It's a fantastically self-contained story that fits perfectly within the larger MCU. So I loved every bit of it.
I think that's what you said on the review, so that's good to hear that it still holds up.
It still holds up. I still agree with, I think I said this on the review too, they use CGI in places where I don't think they needed to, but I can get past it because Michael B. Jordan still is awesome. Watch, me and Geiger did a commentary on Incredibles, so I think we dropped that on iTunes already at the time of this recording. We'll get it up on YouTube here soon. That was awesome. Watch Ratatouille, a very underrated Pixar movie in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Me and the wifey had a little date night, and we watched Gremlins.
Wow.
Yeah.
We need to do a commentary on Gremlins.
Yeah. So here's a fun fact. They did a Gremlins 2, which I didn't know of.
Yeah, I might have even done a third one, too.
Really? I didn't even know they did a second one. So I actually bought that. I'm going to watch that here coming up.
After you watched Ratatouille, did you get the urge to like try and create some crazy dish in the kitchen?
Oh, yeah. I was mixing tomato sauce, ketchup, and...
well, that's the same thing.
Right.
And a rat.
Right.
And a mouse.
Well, and chocolate syrup. So
Patton Oswalt came, and I cooked him.
Yeah.
So
it was awesome. Also watched Boss Baby. It was cute.
I hate Alec Baldwin, so I don't know if I could.
It was cute. I'll just say
Alec
that. Moving right along, as far as TV goes, so probably about a month ago now, Amazon Prime dropped their new season of All or Nothing on Manchester City, the soccer team.
Wow, they switched sports?
So they've actually done, I watched all the football ones, which is Michigan. They did Arizona Cardinals from 3 years ago, Rams.
The Cowboys, right?
That was last year, and then they did the Rams 2 years ago. I've watched all 4 seasons of that, plus the soccer season, Manchester City. They've also did the All Blacks, the rugby team.
Damn.
Yeah, so which I haven't watched that one yet, but I hear good things. All of those were very cool, really cool insight to how a professional sports team or a college team functions. If you're in the United States like we are, I suggest watching the Manchester City one just because it shows you how big soccer is in the rest of the world. Really cool. Watched the entire season of Hard Knocks, followed the Browns this year. I hate to say it because I'm from his rival school, but Baker Mayfield's a cool fucking dude. I'll say it.
Amen.
Yeah, fuck you, Cycly. And then I also watched 3 seasons, which is everything they made, called Redux on Amazon Prime.
3 seasons.
3 seasons. It's everything they got.
My God.
Very good.
I mean, I know it's been a while since our last episode, but you need help.
Yeah. Yeah, I've watched, what is that, like 6 movies and probably 60 or 70 episodes of TV. Red Oaks.
I'll say this every episode. Banner works a full-time job.
Oh, and he's a father.
He's a father and he's a devoted husband. Like I don't know if I respect it or just have so many questions.
It's fine.
He's disgusting. That's all.
Do you sleep? Is an honest question.
I mean, a little. And then I also watched a show on Netflix.
There's more. Good.
Yeah, one more. Show on Netflix called Everything Sucks. It's based in the early 90s about a kid wanting to be a director. He's a freshman in high school. He wants to be a film director. Pretty cool little story.
I actually saw that.
Yeah.
It came up as a recommended, I think, because I love like 80s/90s set shows or movies.
Yep.
So Netflix, obviously, they know like things about me that even I don't know.
Yeah.
So they recommend.
What'd you think
to
of
me.
it?
Well, I didn't watch it. It was just recommended to me. But if you liked it, I'll definitely give it a shot.
Yeah, my only thing is they only did one season. They didn't get renewed for a second season. So, I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, go for it. But it was all right. I definitely suggest Red Oaks because it's kind of the same concept, except a little bit older. Red Oaks is more of like a darker comedy of Caddyshack. Is kind of how it reminded me because it's set in a country club. So it's pretty cool. I suggest watching that.
You did mention that to me. I think off pod actually.
Yeah,
probably because we haven't recorded since 1951.
It was 52, but whatever.
All right, Cycly, what's in your protein shake? What have you checked out since?
I don't know if I can keep up with that. So show wise, as much as I would love to talk about my 10th rewatch of The Office and Futurama recently, the wife and I have been watching Sharp Objects on HBO with Amy Adams.
That looked almost too intense for me to check out.
It is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a little slow, but really character development wise, like that's what it relies on is the acting and the characters.
Is it the type of show where you watch one episode and you like it, but you're like, man, that was pretty heavy. I don't think we can watch it.
It's really hard it's not a show where you sit there and go, all right, next episode's up, let's go. Like my wife and I have just been like, all right, I need a break.
It's like a one episode a night kind of thing.
It's that's how Westworld was for me.
Yeah. So we totally are kind of going. It's rare for us nowadays with how much we have streaming to go through a show slowly. But this is a show that I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a show that you just watch once and then you're good the next couple days. Talk about it. You're eating dinner. Hey, let's put that show back on. We also have watched, and I love this show and I recommend it. It's a little kooky. It's a little weird, but The Good Place.
I've heard great
with
things.
Kristen Bell?
Yeah, Kristen Bell.
Yeah, I've had a couple people recommend this to me, and I love Kristen Bell, but when I watch like the trailers and I've heard about the premise, I don't know if I'd like it.
No, trust me, because I felt the same way. And anyone listening, it's like I said, it's a little weird, it's a little out there. Just make it through it. It's a 20-minute, it's on Netflix. It's 20 minutes per episode. Just sit through it.
Yeah, I've watched a few episodes not in order because the wife loves it. And
that's weird.
Yeah, I could definitely see where you're coming from. If you can make it through it, it's really good.
I'll say this: I respect originality. Originality doesn't always mean good, but we are in an era right now where so much is just repetitive. Good Place it's original, it's funny, and like I said, if you just put the effort in to watch it, it's fantastic. The writing, it's a smart show. And then, Jeff, you and I talked about this off air. I watched Spring Breakers.
Yeah.
And that's a movie you either love and you hate and you understand both sides of it. And I loved it.
It's not what you think. You see the trailer, James Franco with dreads, Vanessa Hudgens. This is stupid as fuck.
It just seems like a big party movie.
Right. It's not.
And like, I don't want to spoil it for people, but I mean, there's a major allegory behind it. There's a major story that it's a lot deeper than it looks. You might finish the movie and go, that was dumb as fuck. And a lot of people do. There's a lot of hate for the movie. But if you actually kind of almost like go and read a little bit about it or actually think about it for a couple minutes, you're almost like, shit, that was deep. And it doesn't seem like it. It's like an hour, 20-minute movie full of boobs and ass, but and drugs and drinking. But
I'll say this: it was the type of movie,
it has the most dramatic moment.
Yeah, it was the type of movie. After I saw it, it kind of like I was thinking about it way longer than I thought I would be.
Yeah,
like several days after.
And James Franco, I'm pretty sure, got nominated for an Oscar for it. So like, it was obviously like people recognize it for being pretty decent. But like I said, if you go online, it's either loved or hated. There's no middle ground for it. Yeah. So,
and I wish I could say you would know like 20 minutes in, but you don't really know what it is till like an hour in.
No, yeah, the first hour actually was the hardest part to get through.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, that always looking for stuff to watch on Netflix. So,
how did you come across Spring Breakers? Did you just like think of it and you're like, oh, I haven't ever seen this? Or
I had an old roommate who was a film major in college who swore by this movie. And I remember seeing the trailer just being like, that just looks like the, typical college party movie. And I saw Netflix recommended it. And I just said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to watch it. And
It's
the
on
first 30,
Netflix right
45
now?
It is on Netflix. And I was just like, the 45 minutes, like, what do people see in this movie? And then it ended. Actually, the saddest part, this isn't spoilers. There's a Britney Spears song in the movie that is put to, like, the film. Like, there's, like, dramatic stuff going on, and the Britney Spears is playing in the background. And all of a sudden, like, I'm like, my heart up, like, oh, fuck, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
I don't remember the music playing. I know the scene you're talking about, but now I almost want to go back and rewatch
No,
it.
go on YouTube. Like, if you find it, like Britney Spears in Spring Breakers, and everyone's like, "This is the greatest scene in all of cinematic history," and I'm watching it like, "Oh shit!" There's like a tear coming out of my eye.
Whole new definition to "It's Britney, bitch."
Yeah, it was like I said, the movie is not what you expect.
No, it's not. I'm glad you brought that up because that's one that like I don't know if I ever would have had an excuse to talk about on pod, but I'm glad someone else is that I could riff with. I had a really eclectic take of movies that I've watched since we've last potted. And by the way, sorry we haven't potted in forever, but like we have all just been so fucking busy. I actually have not seen like all these movies are about 3 weeks old that I've seen. So I watched Johnny English Reborn with Rowan
There's nothing
Atkinson.
wrong with that. That shit's
Like,
awesome.
it is so fucking stupid.
It's awesome.
But it was hilarious. God damn it.
I
It's
actually
one of
might have recommended that on the last pod we did.
You 1000%. Well, okay, so this is the sequel.
100%.
The first one is Johnny English. I think it's just called Johnny English. This is the sequel, Johnny English Reborn, and then what's the new one called? Like Johnny English Returns or something?
Rebirth, maybe.
Some weird, whatever. It's
Doesn't
so
matter.
stupid.
Let's be honest with ourselves.
I will say this though, unlike Spring Breakers, if you try to watch Johnny English Reborn on Netflix, you'll know 5 minutes in whether it's a total piece of shit, you're not going to enjoy it, or whether you think it's hilarious. So there's really like if you want to just give it 5 minutes, you'll get it. Because in the very first scene, he ties a rope around his ball sack and he drags a boulder with it as part of his training. So in the Andes Mountains. Another movie. What'd you say?
Seems pretty natural, yeah, in training. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we've all
We've
had
all
a high
done
school-
that.
Yeah, we've all had a high school coach who pushed us through to achieve things even we didn't know we could with our ball sacks. I also watched a movie called Tully with Charlize Theron. Have you guys heard of this? It
Enlighten
came
us.
out. It came out last year. So she plays a mother dealing with some postpartum depression after giving birth to her third child. I'm not going to say much more than that because I'm not even kidding, and I would recommend this to anyone. It has one of the biggest twists in a movie that I was not even expecting a twist to be in this movie. It's like
Did they kill the mom with yodeling?
No, it wasn't that cool, but it's like I would put like Saw 7
Wow.
and Tully is like a few movies behind. Like I was watching it with my mom and we had to pause it and walk around my house like, what? So there's a pretty crazy twist. I would recommend Tully. Charlize Theron is in her like monster form. It like basically should have been nominated for an Oscar if she wasn't. And then I also watched this small independent film that Banner saw called Avengers Infinity War as I bought the Blu-ray. And I know that, yeah, I know superhero movies aren't for everybody, but I just have to say the fact that this film exists with all these characters after having grown up a huge fan of them, I was just smiling the whole time. It was like the fifth time I've saw it, and it was just fucking awesome. It's great. It's a long movie. What's that?
Were you smiling at the end?
I was not. The end still affects me. It hits me in the feels. But I watch it over two settings, which is, I think, a nice way to digest a movie after you've seen it. And of course it has its flaws, but for the most part, I think considering it was an 18-movie culmination, the Russo brothers did a pretty good job. Banner, anything you want to add about Infinity War after you rewatched it?
No, it makes me really excited to hear to see the end of the story coming up next summer, because I kind of like the Pirates of the Caribbean second and third movie. I don't think this is one movie, even though they're going to be one movie, even though it's two movies, if that makes any sense.
Yep, absolutely does. All right, that brings us to the last segment of our show. Banner, I know you raised your hand. Did you have a quick question that you wanted to ask before we finished out here?
Bruh.
Oh, okay. I think what you're asking is, do you even lift, bruh? Which is our question and answer segment where we dig up a few questions from around the internet and answer them on our show because we can. Our first question comes to us from friend of the pod, Luis A. Rivera, and he says, what's your favorite movie to watch when you're sad? Rocky for me. That's a good one because of the da-da-da. If you're having a bad day and you hear that, you'll go climb some steps outside. Cycly, do you have a movie that you always watch when you're sad? I actually think on our Aladdin movie commentary, you said that was one of your movies. So if you have to,
that was actually just what I was about to say. Aladdin is my go-to sad movie. If I'm not feeling good, if my sports team loses in a big game, I'm putting Aladdin on. I'm laying on the couch and I'm singing all the songs, and it puts me in a better mood. I mean, there's nothing that compares to me than Aladdin for putting me in a happy mood.
It's a great movie, and if you have not seen it with our movie commentary, I highly recommend it. And I'm unbiased because why would I do something to benefit myself? It doesn't even make sense. Boehner, you're up.
Word. Sorry.
Prince Ali.
I don't really have a go-to movie per se, but if I'm feeling down, I'll dust off the old That 70s Show DVDs, pick a one at random and throw it in. As long as it's from the first 7 seasons, I won't do the 8th season because that one was dog shit.
Banner, one of my favorite moments of my life was in college when you let me borrow all your DVDs, and what did I watch it in like a week and a half?
Yeah,
100?
it was disgusting. You watched, like, you call me disgusting. You watched 8 seasons of That 70s Show in like 7 days.
Don't ask my professors if I was in class, because fuck them. They're biased.
I remember I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch the last episode with you," and you're like, "If you don't mind, I have to do this alone." And you kicked me out of the living room.
It was a spiritual experience. I had to do it by myself. I'm sorry. For me, Cycly's not going to be surprised by this, but a Goofy movie. It is not even in jest. It's probably my favorite movie of all time. I think I probably watched it close to 50 or 60 times. I can recite it from start to finish, and it just always puts me in a good mood. The father-son relationship, the coming-of-age aspect, and like Cycly had to say about Aladdin, the music is great, and I think it's criminally underrated as far as Disney movies go. I know that's a tough list to like jump up, but rewatch it again, and it's just awesome.
Also, Roxanne is hot, man. She is just
fine. Oh, I just wish that she wasn't so shallow and only cared about if Max was going to the Powerline concert or not, you know? I don't know. That's a whole other episode. I won't get into that. All right, thanks for the question, Luis. Our next question comes from Terrence Page at Mr. TPJ, who asks, what are some of your all-time favorite scenes in a movie? I got to go first because once I read this, I was like, I know mine 1,000%. My first one is the scene in Back to the Future 2. When Marty is on the hoverboard trying to get the sports almanac from old Biff. Do you guys remember that scene? Because Biff is gambling on obviously has the sports games from the future, and he's gambling on them and becoming rich and fucking up everyone's life. I just love the intensity of that scene, and God, I remember being so pissed that hoverboards didn't exist after that it actually kind of affected me in school.
That's actually all you took out of that movie.
Yeah, basically, but I'm not wrong. My other favorite scene, and I hope that I'm not stealing this from anybody else, is the interrogation scene of the Joker in The Dark Knight, which is probably an top 3 all-time movie scene. And then just honorable mention to the train scene in Spider-Man 2, which is great. Banner, what do you got?
Mine is Days of Future Past when Professor X is talking to Professor X.
That is a great scene.
I think that is just 2 juggernauts from 2 different eras.
Wow, great pun.
Going at it. Thank you.
Let me put you on the spot. Who's your favorite Professor X?
It's probably the one from the animated show in the 90s. Spun it on you there.
Jesus.
Don't ask me who voice acted it because I couldn't tell you.
No one can. Even the guy who did it was like, oh, I forgot I did that.
Yeah. Cycly, what do you got?
So I was going to say the interrogation scene, but in all honesty, any scene Heath Ledger is in The Dark Knight is just incredible. I could watch any part of that movie that he's in. But also Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood.
Ugh.
The very end scene where I drink your milkshake. And I remember watching that scene in theaters, and he's so crazy in that movie. People are laughing. And oh my gosh, look how crazy he is. And he starts bashing, I can't remember the actor's name, with the bowling pin. And everyone's laughing. And then all of a sudden, the whole theater just turns from laughing to just dark and dim, and no one says a word or makes a noise. And it's just like, that's how good he was. That whole scene, that like 10-minute scene, is just absolutely insane. But then again, you can take that whole movie. In my opinion, that movie is the greatest acting performance in any movie. It's just Daniel Day-Lewis is not even. There's no one even close to his level. But that movie, that scene at the end is just so intense.
Yeah, and Cycly, to that point, I think I saw that in theaters, but my theater wasn't like that crowded, so we didn't get that much of a reaction. But it almost felt like live theater when he did that. Like, that's how, like, people felt like the guy was in the room acting with them. That's how affected by it they were.
Yeah, and you understood like the fear, and you're like, oh man, yeah, because he's the main character. You're technically rooting for him, right? I mean, that's what I love about twisted movies, when you're rooting for the bad guy, and you realize it at the very end. You're like, wait a second, that guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah, in The Dark Knight, when he does some, I won't say who, but he does some fucked up stuff, and maybe people die, you're like, good. I don't like them anyway. All right, last question comes us from Dale White, at Dale White 71129, who asks, aside from Wolverine, what is your favorite role from Hugh Jackman? Banner.
Guilty pleasure of mine, Australia. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
What? Yeah. I know he's from Australia. He's in a movie.
Yeah, in 2008, I believe, he was in a movie called Australia with Nicole Kidman. And it's about like the settlement of Australia, and then basically like the English quote unquote cowboys taking the native land away from the natives.
Damn.
It's actually a really good movie. He's a cattle farmer in it. You guys should check it out, but he's really good in it, and it's just a great movie.
Australia.
Yeah.
With Nicole Kidman.
With Nicole Kidman. It's real.
Because that sounds awesome. I feel like you're fucking with me, but I would hope that you're not.
Look, if anybody's going to look something up on the pod, it's going to be you, so.
That's true. I don't have.
And if anybody's going to make something up on the pod, it's going to be me. So, look, people, place your bets now. Who's right?
No shame in that. Cycly, what do you got?
I'm going to say the movie Les Miserables.
Thank you.
All right.
Les Miserables. I will say why I love that is just it truly shows his reach, his talent. I mean, he's not just this he's buff, superhero. He's action star. That guy has range. I mean, the guy can sing and dance. It's just impressive because not everyone in Hollywood can do that. Do a little bit of everything. I think he can. I mean, I'm impressed.
Yes,
by him, so.
He can. He's won Tonys for singing, Banner. So fuck you.
Wasn't a fan of his singing. Just saying.
Well, you sound like you're jealous. You sound jealous.
Maybe a little.
All right, so I have two. One is just a voice acting role, so maybe it's kind of cheating, but Rise of the Guardians. Have you guys ever seen this?
Fantastic. Very underrated animated movie.
So this is an animated movie. I don't think it's DreamWorks because it's good. But I also don't think it's Pixar, so I could be wrong. But it's basically like all of the childhood heroes that we grew up worshiping, like Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, they all work together to fight off an evil spirit. And Hugh Jackman voices the Easter Bunny. And he kind of uses his Australian accent, which I really like in the movie. But it's a really cool, it's like a little bit darker than most animated films. And the voice cast is actually incredible. Isla Fisher's in it. Alec Baldwin. I think Chris Pine is in it too. I can't totally. Jude.
Never even heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, Jude Law's in it also. It's fairly recent. It's 2011, 12 maybe. But Rise of the Guardians, I would check it out. It's a short watch. And then if anyone hasn't seen this movie, out there. This is not like an off the radar one, but Prisoners. Cycly, have you seen this?
That's I love that movie. Absolutely love that movie.
God, it's incredible. I can't remember the name of the actor, but the kid is actually also in There Will Be Blood.
That's the one I can remember. Yeah, he's a good actor.
Yeah, God damn it, Paul Dano. I think that's his name. He's also
he always plays the good, demented, like disturbed character. He does that in a couple movies, actually.
Yeah, he's like too introverted for you to actually be comfortable around it. You're like, okay, what's actually going on? But so he is. Obviously, we're not going to spoil anything in Prisoners because I recommend you see it if you haven't. But he's in the movie, and to me, Hugh Jackman playing a father who is just like angry.
Makes a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, makes a lot of mistakes. He's angry at the world, and he like doesn't care what he has to do to get what he wants. I think he's better than Jake Gyllenhaal in that movie.
You go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, and that's not an indictment on Gyllenhaal. I just think Jackman's that good.
No, yeah, and Gyllenhaal's great in that movie. I will say this: that movie is really underrated. No one talks about that movie.
Yeah,
I mean, it's 3 or 4 years old, and I felt like it kind of went under the radar. No one talked about it when it came out. I remember seeing it, loving it. I got good reviews. I think I got nominated for 1 or 2 things, but it's just a movie no one mentions. I mean, I don't think. I love it, and I almost forget about it all the time. I wonder why that is, but it is really well done. If you like dark, twisted movies that not in a scary way, just really takes you for a ride on a like emotional train ride, like roller coaster ride, go watch this movie. It's fantastic.
And if you like twists in movies, this one will not let you down. It definitely builds things up, and at least I didn't see where it was going the first time I watched it. One thing it did do, I think Denis Villeneuve, who has done like Sicario and the latest Blade Runner movie, it was one of his not earlier projects, but like the first one that really got him notoriety, I believe.
Yeah.
So, all right, that will do it for this episode of the Bro Force Squad podcast. For the mad scientist Brian Banner and our legal counsel Ronnie Cycli, I am Jeff Hornacek, the mayor. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Bro Force Squad. Subscribe to us on iTunes and Spotify, Bro Force Squad, 3 words. If you could leave us a 5-star iTunes review, we would really appreciate it. And subscribe to us on YouTube as well. Bro Force Squad, 3 words again. Check out everything we're doing on our website, broforcesquad.com. Till next time, we will catch you later. You know, you are totally like the Harvey Dent of my life. Like, I would vote for you, Cycli.
Well, I mean, are you saying I'm two-faced?
Wow, what? No.
Are you saying like I am different in front of you than I am when I'm behind your back?
Shut up!